Hey guys, Lucas here from T.REX Arms. So you guys might think, oh cool, Lucas is going to talk about how to shoot quicker on the move. That just means I have to move faster. Not necessarily. We're going to be talking about a few things that are going to help you in the whole process of movement. I'm breaking down a few core fundamentals. So starting off, I'll walk you through this drill. So starting here at this single cone, we're going to be starting from a static position. We're going to be engaging two pieces of steel. We're at about 30-ish yards. It's not too bad. Some of you guys are going to ask, hi, can you safely shoot steel at this range? I thought you have to shoot at 100. Well, that's typically a liability steel companies put out. This is swinging steel. It absorbs a lot of the impact. We're wearing eye protection, so nothing's really going to happen. I'm using 55 grain ball. It's not solid core. It's not AP. No frag issues at all. It just really doesn't happen that much. From here, we're going to be shooting static. We'll have to break down our movement once we're done, 2 on each in the back. We then explode into movement. Once we get to these 3 cones, that's when we start decelerating, throttling down our speed, and getting on the gun quickly. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Then it's 2 on each steel in the back once again. Once we're done with that, breaking rifle down, rifle on safe, obviously, because the optic is left to rise. I've got the line of cones here that forces me to really get into this position right here. It's going to be a tight turn, forcing some agility. 2 rounds on each of these while moving in width. So there's a few things we're going to go over, and the first one is starting from a static position. All right, so the big part about starting from a static position and getting out of your static position is how fast you can begin moving out of it. And that comes down to your brain processing, and that's ultimately going to help you shoot and move faster. So what typically happens when I have a shooter shooting a static position, a student or whoever, they'll go to shoot, they'll get their hits, and then there's a pause where they're going, did I get my hits? Yes, I did. How many times do I need to shoot the target? I need to shoot it twice. And I got a visual and audio stimulus. Can I move now? Yes, I can. And then they break down and start moving. So there's a lot of delay right there in what they're doing versus what they should be doing is going bang, bang, off. And then they begin movement. So a lot of shooting on the move quickly isn't so much about how fast you move, it's how fast you can process and go between tasks. So the task here being 2 on each steel. As soon as I'm done with that task, I should be moving. Gun should be on safe. I should be breaking out of this position, loading into my legs and moving on. There's a lot of time that can be bought right here, and it all comes down to how fast you process the information. So now let's get into the second stage, the second area. So here we're going to be sprinting from the first cone. We're going to be decelerating into this area. Big one right here, how you can start shooting faster on the move. Here we're actually decelerating. We're not actually speeding up our movement. The big one here is mounting the gun fast before we've even gotten into position. So as soon as I'm in position, I can start shooting. So let's see what that looks like full speed. So right there, what you all saw, I was mounting the gun as I was getting in position. That allows me to see my sight quicker. That allows me to shoot faster. We can only shoot as fast as we can see our sights typically, unless you're really close. So we want to focus on mounting the gun quickly. That will allow you to shoot sooner, which ultimately means you can shoot faster while moving. Then from here, once we've gotten our hits, same thing, brain processing. I'm done with this task, 2 on each. As soon as I'm done, I'm breaking down, safing the rifle, moving on to the next task. All right, so a couple other tips about getting quick on the gun. So I talked earlier about you can't shoot till you see your sights, so it's best to start mounting the gun as you're getting into position so you can get onto that optic a little bit quicker. So the one way I do that when I'm making a movement, like from the static position when I'm starting, is I'm not dropping my rifle all the way down, and I'm not necessarily going all the way high ready. Obviously, situation depending. I'm just throwing the rifle up over my shoulder like this, my muzzle still downrange. My optic, as you can see, is pretty close to my eyes, and that allows me, when I'm getting into position, I can start mounting the gun. I simply roll the gun up. Motion equals time, so the more motion you can eliminate, obviously the faster and more efficient you will be. So it's a really good way of just punching the gun up, getting your sight picture. second thing, when you're moving into a position, moving into an area where you're shooting, I see a lot of people, they just sort of look where they're going and they stay focused on that. And then as soon as they get there, they snap up to target. That's going to be a little bit slower because now I'm not looking to where my target is. I'm not going to be able to push the gun in relation to where the target's at because I'm fixated on the location where I'm moving. So once you've seen where you're moving, eyes come back up to where the target is. And then I can see in my peripheral when I reach that cone. So like for moving into this position, I finished my last shot, break stock over. I've got my optic up here near my eyes. I see where I'm going, and then it's eyes on target, my first one. Gun comes up, just like that. This gun's awesome. So I hope that was helpful, just kind of seeing how I shoot some on the move and going over a few little techniques. I'm going to be doing a video series on shooting on the move in the near future, so make sure you subscribe to this channel, actually getting down into timing, stabilizing your rifle, stabilizing your body as you're moving through, also shooting pistol, and then shooting a little bit more distance while moving, and then also actually moving fast while shooting, because it's pretty incredible how fast you can actually move and accurately hit things. And that's something that I teach, that's something that I help guys with. I just got back from training a SWAT team actually earlier this week, Monday and Tuesday, and we did a full day of shooting on the move. The day before was some other stuff, but got those guys moving pretty quick by the end of it, which is cool. Let's talk about the kit that I used in this video. So I had a Glock 17. This is a new Glock that I just used for a video, which you'll see. It may have already been published by the time this video is published. We've got a Ragnarok here. This is, I marked it B for my X300 Ultra B. The A's fit a little different, so I have one that's a B, one that's an A. It's on a UBL, the QLS, so I can swap out for other holsters if I'm using other guns or Safariland holsters, just depending on what I'm doing and who I'm working with. Mars carrier, single pistol mag, and this is on a tech lock, so this is really easy to just hook onto your normal belt. And I have a little patch of Velcro hook that can adhere to my competition belts if I'm running one of those. That's what these came off of. And then I have a Mars carrier for rifle, same thing, tech lock. Because I have this little patch of Velcro, I can take one of our tourniquet holders, I can slap that on there, and this is a pretty sweet little setup. You can just throw on a belt. Actually pretty cool for active shooter stuff. If you need an extra mag, just throw this on over your belt if you're law enforcement or whatever, so that's pretty cool. Let's go over the rifles. So I got my MCX. This is a Gen 1 11.5 MCX with a Surefire RC2. I really like this gun. It's got a folding brace, and then I can take the can off, and it turns into a pretty small little package. Got an aim-point T2, Surefire at PLC, and this gun is ready to work, and I really like this, really enjoy it. My OG BCM, which y'all have probably seen in a couple of my earlier YouTube videos. I haven't shot this gun in a long time, but this one will do work. I very much enjoy it, and this is my first time shooting it in about 4 months because I have a lot of other guns. And then, of course, the Scar 16. This is a 13.7, so it's been chopped shorter. I've got a kinetic development group rail, so I can punch this out. Obviously, I have my PEC 15 right here. My iron sight, as you can see, it can be in the upright position. I was actually pushing it just down and staying down, so it clears my optic, which is pretty cool. Dual pressure pad up top. Surefire M300 for white light, and this is a pretty slick setup. And I have a Surefire Mini, which I've got a couple of those, and it's working pretty well. So especially on this gun, that's already a longer gun. I don't want it much longer with like a full-size can. Geissele trigger, EOTech EXPS3, and then I've got the kinetic ACR stock, and this gun definitely is awesome. Obviously shot a lot, got a lot of mags over here. But this is kind of some of the gear that we use today. I like mixing it up for my range days, and I'll start going over stuff at the end of the videos that we do when I'm getting into talking about kit, running kit, whatever it happens to be, different rifle setups, and then we'll do some videos dedicated to these guns as well, where I actually get a little more in depth. So subscribe, stay tuned, and hope this was helpful.